Honorable members, let us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Good afternoon, honorable members, and welcome to our afternoon session of today, Tuesday, 3rd October 2023. Clerk, order of business.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, I have a number of communications to make. Number 1, there is a letter from Lake Region Economic Bloc, and this is addressed to the clerk and attention to the chair, Women Caucus, County Assembly of Kericho. There will be an event called International Day of the Girl Child on 11th October 2023 in Kericho County at Kenya Highlands Evangelical University from 9 a.m. Of course, the theme of the event is that our time is now, our rights, our future. And the chief guest of the day will be Her Excellency Rachel Ruto, First Lady of the Republic of Kenya. All honorable members of the County Assembly, most of the women are invited, but of course the whole honorable members of this County Assembly are invited to join the First Lady during this event. So please note that the leader of that is the chair, Women Caucus, Honorable Irene, I hope you are here. If not, please note that the Deputy Majority Leader, that is Honorable Fancy. Secondly, communications that I also have to make is the County Executive, that is through the CC Finance and Economic Planning and Head of County Treasury, has sent to us, to the County Assembly, a number of reports. One is the Finance Bill 2023. 2 is the County Budget Review and Outlook Paper, that is 2023 also, and County Annual Progress Report for 2022-2023 for our necessary action. Therefore, the Finance Bill, together with the Finance Bill, is hereby committed to the Committee on Finance and Economic Planning, that is led by the Honorable Chairperson, Kibet Pasuben, and the County Budget Review and Outlook Paper, as well as County Annual Progress Report 2022-2023 is hereby committed to Budget and Appropriation Committee, led by the Chairperson, Honorable Albert Kwach. So please note those 3 important policy documents that have been sent by the Executive for your implementation in those 2 committees, as well as noting the deadline in the law. I also have bills for pre-publication scrutiny, and number 1 is Kericho County Community Health Services Bill 2023. Second one is Kericho County Internship Services Bill 2023, and third is Kericho County Technical and Vocational Training Bill 2023. I therefore commit Kericho County Community Health Services Bill 2023 to Committee on Health Services, led by the Honorable Eric B. Please note that. And the one on Kericho County Internship Services Bill 2023 is hereby committed to the Committee on Governance, Labor and Social Welfare, whereas Kericho County Technical and Vocational Training Bill 2023 stands committed on Committee on Education and Child Welfare. You are expected, the committees, please work together with the Office of the Deputy Clerk Legislative Services as you do the pre-publication scrutiny. I hope the Chairperson on Health, the Chairperson on Governance, and the Chairperson on Education has noted those three bills. Lastly, I have some three other communication to make. One is commencing 4th October 2023. All honorable members will be required to log in via the biometric machine to all plenary committee sittings, both within and outside the precincts of this assembly, including any workshop facilitated by the county assembly. Kindly note, the system will lock out any member 30 minutes after the commencement of any sitting or meeting. Secondly is the United Democratic Alliance has issued grassroots election notice to be held on 9 December 2023. Should any member want to seek any clarification on the same, they could reach out to the leader of majority, the Honorable Philip Rono. I think that is a party matter, and honorable members, you are advised to seek clarification from the leader of majority. Thirdly is the security from today will search all members because they are being admitted to the county assembly so as to prevent entry of any member of the public through the assembly's gate B. Any member of the public should only be admitted through gate A, and his or her details be registered with the security office. Honorable members, those are administrative matters, number 1 and number 2, and the one for party affair. Please note and comply accordingly. Clerk, next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next.
Order number 5, papers.
Next.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next.
Order number 7, statements.
The Honorable Chairperson for implementation, your report was due today, this morning session. Please give us a progress report on the same, or the status.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity to give the progress report on the objectives that had been given to the Committee on Implementation to do an investigation and do a write-up on the operationalization of the Assembly. Honorable Speaker, sir, the committee has walked through its timelines, safe to it that because of the legal timelines that are required for individuals to appear before the committee, they took 1 week. We wrote to the clerk and his officers appeared before the committee. We interrogated them, got the information. We then retreated to Nakuru to do the report, and amidst the way, Honorable Speaker, sir, we found out that there are some gray areas that we still needed to work on it so that we get a conclusive report that is watertight for the posterity of this assembly. Sir, we then agreed from the decisions of the decision of the committee that that the committee concluded that they required 7 more days to conclusively deal with the matter because we found out that the matter that was before us was a weighty matter that has ramifications on the conduct of some officers, and we thought that for the posterity of this assembly and for the coming years, we want to bring a watertight report that has recommendations that will then take forward this assembly. It is then the prayer of the committee, Honorable Speaker, sir, that you give us 7 more days to conclusively work on the report and be tabled before the floor of this House. I thank you.
Thank you so much, the Honorable Dr. Namandro, for the status report on the Committee on Implementation, and I therefore direct that you table the same next week, that is on Tuesday, should be 10th October 2023, in the morning session. For that matter, please note that the Honorable Chairperson for implementation. Clerk, next order.
Order number 8, motion by Chairman of Liaison Committee.
All right, this is actually resumption of business interrupted on 3rd October 2023. That is today's morning session because there was a quorum each. And I call upon the Chairperson, Liaison, Chairman of Liaison Committee, the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Eric Bates, to table the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance to debut report of the Liaison Committee on the consideration of select committees' progress reports from September 2022 to June 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to thank the members of Liaison Committee who are the chairpersons of all committees in the County Assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, through your guidance, allow me to go straight to page 4. Of course, their membership there, all the chairpersons have been captured, and these are the committees. So our report is referenced on standing order number 195, is where we draw this particular report, which I would want to read from page 4. This report outlines the business conducted by the County Assembly committees from September 2022 to June 2023. The report is prepared in accordance with provisions of the standing order number 195-1, which requires that each select committee prepare and submit half-year progress reports to the Liaison Committee. However, noting that the first year progress report was not done, the Liaison, following a meeting held on 6th of September 2023, approved the second half-year progress reports to be compiled. This means the report we are tabling is for a full year because we were not able to do for the first half year. To prepare this the report, the committee retreated to Nairobi Western Hotel, where each chairperson submitted a report on what the committees had undertaken during the period under review. And of course, 2.1 are the committees of the County Assembly, which I will also, through your guidance, do not beg to read because they are well known. They are 1 to 14. And also the House committees have also been listed on page 5, 1 up to 10 as well. I want to go to 2.2, the key areas considered by the committees. In compiling the report, the committee considered the following areas. 1, the number of committee meetings. 2, requested statements. Number 3, reports by committees. Number 4, bills. Number 5, policies. 6, site visits. 7, petitions. 8, engagement with departmental CECs. And 9, benchmarking. And number 10, seminars. And then 3.1, we'll start with the first committee, Committee on Education and Child Welfare. And I will also not read the mandate of the committees because they are well captured in the standing orders. I'll go straight to page 7 and give a summary. Membership is there as well. On page 7, we have the table summary. We adopted this summary report for all the committees. So for education, for sittings, we also cap it up to sittings. Sittings, they start 42 times, and they, within and outside the presence of the assembly, they consider committee business. The reports that we were able to table are 3 on vetting and approval of Chief Officer, Mr. Richard Tanui, Education, Youth Affairs, Sports, Culture, Social Services, and report on statement by Honorable Isaac Matker, and it was dispensed. And the third report, which the committee tabled, is report or statement by Honorable Dominic Mutai, which was deferred. In terms of statements, they were able to address 2, and this is statement by Honorable Isaac Matker on bursary allocation and composition of the bursary committee, and also statement by Honorable Dominic Mutai on status of ECD classrooms. The retreats they did were 4, preventing of the Chief Officer nominee, Mr. Richard Tanui, Education, Youth Affairs, Sports, Culture, and Social Services in Nakuru. Report writing on the approval of the Chief Officer nominee, Mr. Richard Tanui, Education. This is a repetition, a report, yes, report again for the same CEO, and report writing on statement by Honorable Isaac Matker and Dominic Mutai. For the training and seminars, they did 2. National Education Committee Summit in Karen Christian School in Nairobi, and number 2, Chairperson and Vice Chairperson, First Chairperson Education Caucus at Lavington Primary in Nairobi. And they had 5 engagements with the department, the CEC, and they engaged the CEC on the following issues: bursary allocations and disbursement, scholarship program, ECD teachers welfare, confirmation and promotion, construction of ECD centers, classrooms, a launch and disbursement of bursary funds, and lastly, they did 1 benchmarking visit, and this visit to Kwale County. The challenges by the committee are listed below: inadequate committee budget to undertake various activities, a lack of training to the committee, a lack of commitment for members, and absenteeism. Recommendations: the Assembly should consider allocating additional budget to the committee to enable it to undertake all the activities outlined in the work plan, and members of the County Assembly should initiate more legislation, especially in the file functions regarding education and child welfare. 3.2 is Committee on Health Services, and again, the mandate of the committee is well spelled out in the standing orders, and I will go straight quickly to the table on page 9 on what they achieved in the last 1 year. And the same format again: sittings, 35 sittings, and they were able to sit within and outside the presence. They were able to do 2 reports. Report number 1 on the vetting of Chief Officer, Health Services, Dr. Japheth Cheruiyot, and report on statement raised on the number of health centers and dispensaries in the county, functionality of ICU, and functionality of generator backup. Statements were 2, which they dispensed. The 1 statement by Honorable Fancy Korir on the number of health centers and dispensaries in the county, functionality of the ICU, and functionality of the generator backup. And number 2, statement by Honorable Peter Kemoy concerning Linda Mama initiative, which is still pending as at the time of the report. Retreats were 3. They went to Nakuru on the preventing of the Chief Officer, Health Services, Mr. Japheth Cheruiyot, and again retreated to Kisumu to write report on the approval of the same officer, Mr. Japheth Cheruiyot. And the 3rd retreat was report writing on statement by Honorable Fancy Korir. Engagement by CC, 9 of them, and they were able to engage them on a number of issues. One of them is waiver of patients at County Referral Hospital, introduction of Community Health Bill, Health Monitoring and Evaluation Plan, Regional County Health Sectoral Plan 2018 to 2027, confirmation of health staff, health center in every ward, health services performance report, Community Health Promoters Bill, Universal Health Care, and then 1 pending report on statement by Honorable Peter Kemoy on Linda Mama initiative. Challenges faced by Health Committee include failure to adhere to committee work plan due to upcoming business in between the stipulated time, lack of capacity building to members, lack of cooperation from some members of the committee. And recommendations are as follows. Members of the County Assembly should initiate more legislation, especially devolved regarding Health Services Committee. The Assembly should consider allocating additional budget to the committee to enable to undertake all activities in the work plan. Then we come to 3.3, Agriculture Committee. The Committee on Agriculture. Of course, again, the mandate is well stipulated in the standing orders and the membership is there. I will go to the table of the summary. Sittings, 19 sittings. They were able to sit 19 times within and outside the presence of the Assembly to consider committee business. The reports were 3. Report on vetting of Willie Rope, nominee for appointment to the Chief Officer Agriculture. Joint report on vetting of Dr. Michael Lubet. Joint report on visit to Leret SK Show. And bills, the bills were 0. No bills were approved by the committee during the period. Retreats were 3. They retreated to Nakuru, Empolos Hotel for preventing of Mr. Willie Rob, nominee for appointment to the office of the Chief Officer Agriculture, and then retreated to Kisumu Royal Swiss Hotel to write report on appointment of Mr. Willie Rob to the office of the Chief Officer Agriculture, and also attended the agricultural show jointly with the Committee on Cooperative Management, Tourism and Wildlife. Statements were 2, which were dispensed. Statement by Honorable Matthew Korir in regard to multinationals companies in Kericho County. Statement by Honorable Kiprotich Rogon on loitering of livestock. Engagements with CC were 2. CC Agriculture and Livestock Cooperatives and CC Lands, Housing and Physical Planning on agricultural showground, and CC Agriculture, Livestock and Cooperative on CASCOM bill. Pending business are 2. Pending report on statement committed to the committee raised by Honorable Rogonj Kiprotich, and statement by Honorable Matthew Korir in regard to multinational companies. The challenges of the Committee on Agriculture include delays and failure to raise quorum in time to consider committee business, inadequate response to statements by the executive, non-committal of some members towards committee work, reshuffle of committees costed a lot to the committee. And recommendations is that there is need to do summons to the CCs on response to statements, invoke the standing order 238 on members who fail to attend committee sittings, fast-track responses on statements that are pending before the committee, Secretariat to help the committee come up with bills touching on agriculture, that the committee conduct field visits in order to meet the oversight role. The next committee is Committee on Trade and Industrialization. And again, the mandate of the committee membership is on the report. I'll go to the summary of the report, table below. Sittings were 35, and these are sittings done within and outside the presence of the Assembly. Reports were 3. Reports on vetting of nominees to the position of Chief Officer in charge of Trade, Mr. Gilbert B. Report on vetting of the nominee to the position of Chief Officer in charge of Trade, Ms. Jacqueline Langat. A report on statement raised by Honorable Fancy Korir regarding status of implementation of Kericho County Alcoholic Drinks Control Act of 2014. Retreats were 5. Number 1, retreated to Nakuru to conduct pre-vetting of nominees to the position of Chief Officer in charge of Trade and Mr. Gilbert B. Retreated to Kisumu to conduct pre-vetting nominees to the position of Chief Officer in charge of Trade, Ms. Jacqueline Langat. Retreated to Nakuru to write report on vetting of nominees to the position of Chief Officer in charge of Trade, Mr. Gilbert B. And again, retreated to Nakuru to write report on vetting of nominee to the position of Chief Officer in charge of Trade, Ms. Jacqueline Langat. Again, retreated to Nakuru to write report on statement raised by Honorable Fancy Korir regarding status of the implementation of the Alcoholic Drinks Act Control Act of 2014. Site visit was one to Sondu Market. On 28 May 2023, the committee visited Sondu Market, which was under construction. Pending business is one, and that is the status of construction of Sondu Market to be tabled in the House. Challenges of the Committee of Trade include failure to adhere to committee work plan due to upcoming business in between the stipulated time. The scope of the committee was greatly affected by the delineating the aspect of cooperative management, tourism, and wildlife as an independent committee, and facilitation was not adequate. Each logistical issues like transport of vehicles, which was a challenge. Way forward, adhere to the committee work plan. There was need for assembly co-mandate of legislation, oversight, and representation. Acquire more support vehicles to be attached to the committees. 3.5 is Committee on Cooperative Management, Tourism, and Wildlife. And again, membership is there and the mandate is there. The summary is under below. Sittings were 24, which was done within and outside the presence of the Assembly. Reports were 5, which one joint report on vetting of Dr. Michael Bate, nominee for Chief Officer, Livestock and Cooperative Management. Joint report on vetting of Gilbert B., nominee for Chief Officer, Trade, Industrialization, Cooperative Management, Tourism and Wildlife. Joint report on vetting of Jacqueline Chepkemoi, nominee for Chief Officer, Trade, Industrialization, Cooperative Management, Tourism and Wildlife. Report on statement by Honorable Paul Chirchir in regard to cooperative societies in Kericho County. Joint report on the visit to Ulred Agricultural Show with the Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. Our retreats were 6. Went to Nakuru Impolo's Hotel for brevetting of Dr. Michael Bet, nominee for Chief Officer, Livestock and Cooperatives Management, Joint Committee. Again, retreated to Kisumu Royal Swiss Hotel for report writing on vetting of Dr. Michael Bet, nominee for Chief Officer, Livestock and Cooperative Management. Again, retreated to Nakuru Impolo's Hotel on brevetting of Gilbert B., nominee for Chief Officer, Trade, Industrialization, Cooperative Management, Tourism and Wildlife. And again, retreated to Kisumu Royal Swiss on report writing on vetting of Gilbert B., nominee for Chief Officer, Trade, Industrialization, Cooperative Management, Tourism and Wildlife. And retreated again to Kisumu La Savannah Hotel on brevetting of Jacqueline Chepkemoi, nominee for Chief Officer, Trade, Industrialization, Cooperative Management, Tourism and Wildlife, the Joint Committee. Again, went to Nakuru Impolo's Hotel on report writing on vetting of Jacqueline Chepkemoi, nominee for Chief Officer, Trade, Industrialization, Cooperative Management, Tourism and Wildlife. Our statements, the dispense was 1, raised by Honorable Paul Chirchir in regard to cooperative societies in Kericho County. One engagement with CEC, and this was deliberations with the CEC Agriculture, Livestock and Cooperative and CEC Lands, Housing and Physical Planning on a agricultural show ground. Visits were 8 in number, and this is the committee which I think did the most field visits, 8 of them. They went to Chelilis Cooperative Society, Chirobu Dairy Farmers Cooperative Society, Kabianga Dairy Cooperative Society, Cheptoro Diet Cooperative Society, Mosob Dairy Cooperative Society, Kerimoi Dairy Cooperative Society, Chepseon Kibiamit Dairy Cooperative Society, and Kipkelion Dairy Cooperative Society. The challenges of the committee are non-committal of some members towards committee work, delays and failure to raise quorum in time to consider committee business, inadequate transport facilitation during oversight visits, frequent reshuffle of committee membership affected committee performance. 3.6 is Committee on Land, Housing, Fiscal Planning and Settlement. And again, I'll go to page 18 on what the committee did in summary in the table below. Sittings were 45, and these were done within and outside the presence of the Assembly. And of course, the summary mandate of the committees, overview of the Department of Lands, Annual Development Plan for 2023-2024, status of housing projects in Kericho, the vetting of Chief Officer, nominee Mr. Alphonse Rotich, vetting of Chief Officer nominee, Mr. Alphonse Rotich, adoption of report on vetting of Chief Consideration Policy on Development Control in major towns in the county, review of Kericho County Urban Areas Management Act of 2021, disaster management, revetting of nominated to Kericho County Municipal Board, revetting of members nominated to the Municipal Board, vetting tool and approval of supplementary questions, vetting of Kericho Municipal Board members, vetting of Lieutenant Municipal Board members, report on vetting of Kericho Municipal Board members, report on vetting of Lieutenant Municipal Board members, adoption of report on vetting of Kericho Municipal Board members, adoption of report on vetting of Lieutenant Municipal Board members, consideration of statement raised by Honorable Matthew Korir, status of Chilimo land, adoption of report on statement raised by Honorable Matthew Korir, review of the Kericho County Land Development Regularization Bill, Regulation Act of 2021, status of fire station in Kericho, status of land, leasehold of multinationals, review of the Kericho County Urban Areas Management Act 2021, review of the Kericho County Evaluation Roll 2020, review of land use and zoning, status of projects funded by World Bank. Reports were 4. Report on vetting of Alphonse Rotich for appointment as Chief Officer Lands, Housing, Fiscal Planning and Settlement. Report on approval hearing of nominees for the positions of Kericho Municipal Board members. Report on approval hearing of nominees for the position of Lieutenant Municipal Board members, and report on statement raised by Honorable Matthew Korir concerning Chilimo Kivogo land. The retreats were 7, and the committee were able to retreat to vetting exercise of Professor Mr. Alphonse Rotich from 15 to 19 November 2022 in Kisumu. Report writing on vetting of Chief Officer Mr. Alphonse Rotich from 28 November to 3rd December 2022 in Nakuru. Revetting exercise of Kericho and Lieutenant Municipal Board members from 9th to 12th March 2023. Report writing exercise on vetting of Kericho and Lieutenant Municipal Board members. Report writing on statement raised by Honorable Matthew Korir. Consultative meeting with CC Lands and Trade on location of County Aggregated Industrial Park in Siala Hotel, Kisumu. Deliberation on formation of County Geographical Information System in Lake Naivasha Resort. Engagement with CC were 4. The engagement with CC Lands on status of Chilimo land. 2. County Integrated Industrial Park and land in Kapsarok. Induction of Kericho and Lieutenant Municipal Board. County Geographic Information System. Statements they dispensed was 1, which was raised by Honorable Matthew Korir concerning Chilimo Kivogo land. Challenges by the committee. The committee faced the following challenges during the period under review. Failure to adhere to committee work plan due to upcoming business in between the stipulated time. 3.7 is Committee on Water and Sanitation. And again, we'll go straight to the table below the summary, which will tell us what the committee did. Sittings were 38 in number, and these were done within and outside the presence of the County Assembly to consider committee business. Reports were 3. Report on vetting of Mr. Wesley Koech, nominee for appointment of Chief Officer, Water, Energy, Environment and Natural Resources. Report on statement raised by Honorable Anita Mibei concerning the status of Kibokobop Water Project. Report on approval of participatory county climate risk assessment and County Climate Change Action Plan. Statements were 2, which were addressed by the committee. Statement raised by Honorable Anita Mibei concerning the status of Kibokobop Water Project, and a statement raised by Honorable Simon Koskei concerning the status of ongoing water projects across the county. Engagements with CC were 2 on FLOCA programs and on Kawasco and Tililibay, which were merged. Retreats were 2, preventing of Mr. Wesley Rotich, nominee for appointment of Chief Officer, Water, Energy, Environment and Natural Resources in Nakuru, and report on vetting of Mr. Wesley Koech, nominee for appointment of Chief Officer, Water, Energy, Environment and Natural Resources in Kisumu. Pending business is 1, which is the statement raised by Honorable Simon Koskei on status of ongoing water projects across the county. Challenges of the committee include the following: failure to adhere to committee work plan due to upcoming business in between the stipulated time, delay in response of statements from the department, Then Committee on Environment, Energy, Forestry, and Natural Resources. And again, membership is there. Let's look at quickly the table below on the summary of what they were able to do under review. Sittings were 13 in number. The committee held 13 sittings outside the presence of the County Assembly to consider committee business. The reports were 3: pre-vetting of Mr. Wesley Koech, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Water, Energy, Environment, and Natural Resources in Kisumu. Report writing on vetting of Mr. Wesley Koech, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Water, Energy, Environment, and Natural Resources in Nakuru. Report writing on approval of participatory county climate risk assessment and county climate change action plan was done in Nairobi. Retreats were 3. The committee retreated for pre-vetting Mr. Wesley Koech, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer for Water, Energy, Environment, and Natural Resources in Kisumu. The committee also retreated to do report writing on vetting of Mr. Wesley Koech in Nakuru on nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Water, Energy, Environment, and Natural Resources, and report writing on approval of participatory county climate risk assessment and county climate change action plan was done in Nairobi. Statements was 1, which was raised by Honorable Moses Rotich on sawmillers, committed to the committee during the period. Pending business, of course, is the same statement raised by Honorable Moses Rotich on sawmillers, which is still pending. Engagement was 1, is that the committee had engagement with executive committee member in charge of Water, Energy, Environment, and Natural Resources, and Chief Officer to approve participatory county climate risk assessment and county climate change action plan in Nairobi. The challenges for the committee are as follows: a lack of commitment by some members toward committee work, failure to raise quorum in time to consider committee business, lack of facilitation of transport during the site visit, delay of information by CEC in charge of the department. The next committee, 3.9, is Committee on Youth, Culture, and Social Services. And again, membership is there, and I will go to the table of summary of what they were able to do under review. Sittings were 27 in number, which were done within and outside the presence of the County Assembly. Reports were 1, report on the approval of the Chief Officer, Mr. Geoffrey Bett, Department of Information, Communication, Youth, and Gender. Retreats were 2, retreated to Nakuru for pre-vetting of Mr. Geoffrey Bett for nomination as Chief Officer, Information, Communication, Youth, and Gender. And second retreat was to Kisumu for report writing on vetting of Mr. Geoffrey Bett for nomination as Chief Officer, Information, Communication, Youth, and Gender. Challenges of the committee face the following: lack of quorum to consider committee business, capacity building for members, failure to adhere to committee work plan, lack of training to the committee. The next committee is a Committee on Public Works, Roads and Transport. And again, we have the membership there and the mandate of the committee. Let's quickly look at what they achieved under the period under review. Sittings were 16, and they were done within and outside the presence of the Assembly. Reports were 1, report on vetting of Mr. Anderson Cheruyat Terer, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Transport, Roads, and Public Works. Retreats were 3. The committee retreated for pre-vetting of Mr. Anderson Cheruyat Terer in Nakuru for appointment as Chief Officer, Transport, Roads, and Public Works. The committee retreated to do report writing on vetting of Mr. Anderson Cheruyat Terer in Kisumu, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer, Transport, Roads, and Public Works. The committee retreated to Nakuru together with the Executive Committee member in charge of Public Works, Roads, and Transport, and Chief Officer to shed light on the following: implementation of RFQs in department, framework contracting, and implementation of works for financial year 2022-2023. There was one engagement with CC, and the committee had engagement in Nakuru with the Executive Committee member in charge of Public Works, Roads and Transport, and Chief Officer to shed light on the following: implementation of RFQs in department, framework contracting, and implementation of works for financial year 2022-2023. Challenges of the committee are as follows: lack of commitment by some members towards committee work, failure to raise quorum in time to consider committee business, and lack of capacity building, lack of facilitation of transport during site visit, delay of information by CCM in charge of the department. 3.11 is Committee on Governance, Labor, and Social Welfare. And again, we'll go to the to the table below of summary of committee business. Sittings were 28 in number, and the committee held 26 sitting meetings both in and out of the place of the county assembly. One statement was raised by Honorable Francis Korir on status of the county fire engines, which was committed to the committee. Reports were 3. Report on vetting of Betsy Chebet, nominee for appointment to the office of the Chief Officer, Public Service Management. Report on inquiry regarding harassment of female workers in Finlays and Katara Tea estates. Report on settlement committed to the committee raised by Honorable Francis Korir on the status of fire engines. Retreats were 4 to Kisumu to conduct the vetting of Ms. Betsy Chebet, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer Public Service Management. Retreated to Nakuru to write report on vetting of Ms. Betsy Chebet, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer Public Service Management. And again to Kisumu Royal Swiss Hotel to compile report on the Kericho County Public Service Board annual report. And again retreated to Kisumu Royal Swiss Hotel to compile the report on the Kericho County revised organizational structure. Engagements were 4, and 1 was with CCPSM on internship programs and other reports. Number 2, Public Service Board on organizational structure, and number 3, the County Secretary on engagement with County Secretary on organizational structure, and 4th, CC Finance on the same agenda, organizational structure. Visits to the field were 2, Finlay's Tea Kenya and Katara Tea Company. Pending business is the time of this report is the report on organizational structure, which was actually tabled the other week. But this report is at the time of the end of financial year, which is under review. Challenges: the committee identified the following challenges in the course of their work: delay in response to statements by County Executive and Public Service Board, delay in consensus building between the committee and the County Executive on matters sent to the committee, failure to adhere to committee work plan due to upcoming business in between the stipulated time. Next committee, 3.12, is Committee on Finance and Economic Planning. The Committee on Finance, of course, is mandate is there, and the membership. And page 30 is a table review of what you were able to achieve in the period under review. Sittings were 35, which were done within and outside the presence of the Assembly. Reports were 5. Report on vetting of Ms. Rosemary Chelangat, nominee for Chief Officer Finance. A report on vetting of Mr. David Kurgat, nominee for Chief Officer Economic Planning. Report on amendments to the Kericho County Finance Bill 2022. Report on statement raised by Honorable Francis Korir regarding the status of the county government of Kericho revenue streams. Report on the third generation county integrated development plan 2023 to 2028. Pending business is 1. Report on waiver of land rates and penalties. Bills 1, which is the Kericho County Finance Bill 2022. Statements raised by Honorable Francis Korir on status of revenue. Site visits were 3. Visit to Tiroto and Jiwakwari in Bureti sub-county. Red Market, Ipkeli and East Sawmills. Retreats were 5. Retreated to Nakuru for preventing exercise of Chief Officer for Finance and Economic Planning. Retreated again to Kisumu for vetting exercise of Chief Officer for Finance and Economic Planning. And retreated to Kisumu again to compile report on the amendments to the Kericho County Finance Bill 2022. Retreated to Kisumu to compile report on the statement raised by Honorable Francis Korir regarding the status of the county government of Kericho revenue streams. Retreated to Kisumu again to compile report on the third generation county integrated development plan 2023 to 2028. Engagement with CC was 1. The committee had a consultative meeting with the CC regarding status of automation of revenue streams. Challenges of the committee: 1. Failure to adhere to committee work plan due to upcoming business in between the stipulated time. Failure by county executive to forward quarterly reports and financial statements. Lack of quorums in some scheduled meetings is one of the challenges. 3.13, Research, Information, Technology, and E-Government Committee. And the committee, of course, the mandate of the committee is also stipulated there. I will go to the summary of what the committee were able to achieve under review. Sittings were 17, which were done within and outside the presence of the County Assembly. Reports were 1, report on vetting and approval of Chief Officer, nominee, Information, Communication, and E-Government, Youth Affairs, Gender and Sports. Retreat were 2, vetting of Chief Officer, Information, Communication, and E-Government, Youth Affairs, Gender and Sports. Nakuru retreated to Kisumu to write report on vetting and approval of Chief Officer, nominee, Information, Communication, and E-Government, Youth Affairs, Gender and Sports. The challenges of the committee are as follows. The challenge, of course, was was of course the capacity building, which has been mentioned here. And recommendation is that the Assembly should consider allocating additional budget to the committee to enable it undertake all activities outlined in the work plan. Members of the County Assembly should initiate more legislation in devolved functions regarding ICT. The County Assembly should consider organizing more benchmarking visits to other county assemblies and the Senate of Kenya to learn from their experiences. 3.14 is Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. And again, we'll go straight to what the committee achieved. And this is the summary on page 34. Sittings were 20, and these were done within and outside the presence of the Assembly. Reports were 0 in this committee. Nothing was tabled in the period under review. There was one statement raised by Honorable Philip Mutai. That statement is still pending as at the time of this report. The committee faced the following challenges during the period under review. Failure to adhere to committee work plan due to upcoming business in between the stipulated time. Lack of quorum in most of the scheduled meetings. 3.15, Committee on Budget and Appropriation Committee. This is the largest committee in the County Assembly, comprising of the 30 elected members. And we'll go again to page 36 to look at what they achieved in the period under review. Sittings was 41, and these were done within and outside the business of the county to consider its committee business. Reports were 6, which they were able to execute. 1 is the annual development plan for 2022-2023. County Fiscal Strategy Paper, CFSP 2022. Debt Management Strategy Paper 2023. County Budget Review and Outlook Paper, CPROP 2022. Supplementary Budget for financial years. Supplementary Budget number 1, financial year 2022-2023. Supplementary Budget.
Honorable members, let us consult in low tones. Honorable Matthew, let's consult in low tone.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Supplementary Budget number 2, financial year 2022-2023, and budget estimates for financial year 2023-2024. The bills that the committee considered were three appropriation bills, which they were able to review under the period. The treats were 7. They went to write report on the following reports in Kisumu: Annual Development Plan for 2022-2023, County Fiscal Strategy Paper, CFSP 2022, Debt Management Strategy Paper 2023, County Budget Review and Outlook Paper 2022, Supplementary Budget for 1 for financial year 2022-2023, and Supplementary Budget number 2 for financial year 2022-2023, and of course the budget estimates for financial year 2023-2024. The challenges faced by the committee are failure to adhere to committee work plan due to upcoming business in between the stipulated time. The way forward is that the committees should strictly adhere to the work plan and the budget cycle timelines. 3.16, the County Public Accounts and Investment Committee, which is here, and of course the mandate is there, plus membership chaired by Honorable Vincent Korir, and the business, the table in page 38 is a summary of what they were able to do. Sittings were 15, which were done within and outside of the presence of the Assembly, and pending reports are a record of 35. So this is should be noted. 35 reports on the general on WASCO financial year ended 30th June 2021. Report on the Auditor General's report in Kericho County Emergency Fund, the year ended 30th June 2020. Report on the Auditor General on WASCO for financial year ended on 30th June 2020. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Agricultural Sector Development Support Program Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Executive Staff Mortgage Scheme Fund for the financial year ended 30th June 2020. Report of the Auditor General on County Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. Report of the Auditor General on Kabianga Tea Farm Company Limited for the year 30th June 2020. Report of the Auditor General in Kericho County Executive Staff Car and Mortgage Scheme Fund of the year ended 30th June 2021. Report of the Auditor General on the County Assembly Member Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund for the financial year ended 30th June 2021. Report of the Auditor General in Kericho County Assembly for the year ended 30th June 2020. Report of the Auditor General in the County Assembly of Kericho for the year ended 30th June 2020. Special audit on pending bills of county government for the financial years 2019-2020. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Assembly Member Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Enterprise Fund for the year ended 30th June 2021. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Executive Staff Mortgage Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2021. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Alcoholic Drinks Fund for the year ended 30th June 2021. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Agricultural Development Fund for the year ended 30th June 2021. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2021. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Emergency Fund for the year ended 30th June 2021. Special audit on COVID-19 vaccine rollout for the Kericho County government. Report of the Auditor General on County Executive of Kericho for the year ended 30th June 2021. Report of the Auditor General on County Executive of Kericho for the year ended 30th June 2020. Report of the Auditor General on County Executive of Kericho for the year ended 30th June 2022. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho Municipal Board for the year ended 30th June 2022. Report of the Auditor General on the Tain Municipal Board for the year ended 30th June 2022. Report of the Auditor General on County Assembly of Kericho for the year ended 30th June 2022. Report on the Auditor General on the Tain Municipal Board for the year ended 30th June 2021. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho Municipal Board for the year ended 30th June 2021. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho Municipal Board for the year ended 30th June 2020. Report of the Auditor General on Tain Municipal Board for the year ended 30th June 2020. And report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Enterprise Fund for the year ended 30th June 2022. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Emergency Fund for the year ended 30th June 2022. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Executive Staff Car Loan Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2022. Report of the Auditor General on Kericho County Agricultural Development Fund for the year ended 30th June 2022. Changes of the committee. 1. Failure to adhere to committee work plan due to upcoming business in between the stipulated time. Number 2. Lack of training to the committee on the interrogation of committee. Lack of capacity building to committee members. Complex reports. Response from the county executive. Delays which were not done within 7 days. And previous pending reports which the committee which was there before were not able to do. Our recommendations is that members of the county assembly should initiate more legislation, especially in the examination of the accounts showing the appropriations of the sum voted by the assembly to omit the public expenditure. The assembly should consider allocating additional budget to the committee to enable it undertake all activities outlined in the work plan. Lack of cooperation from some members of the committee, legal officer, research officer, audit team should be attached to the committee. An exchange program with Senate will also be another additional advantage to the committee. 3.17, Committee on Implementation, chaired by Dr. Naman Rob. And of course, this committee, as you see their table summary, This is the summary of the table is one of the smallest tables in this report. Sittings are 24, and the committee held 24 meetings in and out of the place of the county assembly. And that is it. The challenges faced by the committee, of course, one, delay in response to inquiries by the county executive committee members, lack of necessary support by our sectoral committees on matters within their mandate that comes for consideration by the implementation committee, lack of commitment by some members who have consistently missed committee meetings, and lack of quorum. Recommendations: follow up on the reports, recommendations, motion tracker, statement tracker, bills tracker, and actual legislation for CCM to do regulations. Committee on selection. Again, this committee on selection chaired by the leader majority, and the period under review is that the under review, the committee held 13 committee meetings and tabled 3 reports during the period under review as follows. The first report is, of course, report on the nomination of members to different committees, and second report on nomination of members to different committee, and third report on nomination of members to different committees. And this business is reflected again in the committee recommendations on why there were changes 3 times in the formation of committees. 3.19 is Assembly House Business Committee, and this committee is chaired by Honorable Speaker, and the under review on page 47, this committee was able to hold 21 committee sittings and table 1 report during the period under review as follows. Report of the calendar of the Assembly for regular sessions, which were able to do. 3.20 is Committee on Appointments, again chaired by Honorable Speaker, and the committee was able to hold 2 committees meetings and table 4 reports during the period under review as follows. A report on the approval hearing of nominees, the positions of county executive committee members, report on the approval hearing of panel for the selection of the county secretary and head of county public service, report on vetting of nominees for appointment to the offices of county executive committee members for trade, industrialization, innovation, tourism and wildlife, information, communication, e-government, youth affairs and sports. Report on the approval hearing of the nominee to the position of county secretary and head of county public service board. 3.21 is the Assembly Powers and Privileges Committee, which again is chaired by Honorable Speaker, and they were able to do the following. The summary table on page 49, they were able to sit for 7 sittings within and outside the presence of the Assembly. They did 1 report. The report is on alleged breach of privilege by honorable members during the consideration of the supplementary budget for financial year 2021-2022. The honoraries were done by the committee. 3.22 is the Speaker's panel, again chaired by Honorable Speaker, and the committee held 11 committee meetings during the period under review. 3.23, Committee on Delegated County Legislation, and this committee is chaired by Honorable David Maritim, and during the period under review, they were able to hold 19 sittings within and outside the presence of the county assembly to consider committee business. The challenges are the county executive committee members have not generated subsidiary legislations to operationalize acts approved by the county assembly. And then the last committee is the liaison committee, which I chair, and the committee during the period under review held 8 committee sittings to come up with this report, among many others. So 4.0 is the committee observations, is that we came up with 8 observations and 8 recommendations. So I'll start with the first recommendation, is that no bills were passed by various committees during the period under review. So none of the committee was able to pass any bills apart from the money bills by finance and by budget committee. Number 2, few sectoral committees conducted site visits, yet it is important oversight tool to measure departmental performance more so in the implementation of budgeted programs and projects. This was occasioned by lack of adequate transport facilitation to the committees. 3, that a number of statements raised and committed to various committees have not been responded to. Only few are pending, though at times county committee members take too long responding to statements. Number 4, that 100% attendance by committee members has been a challenge, since some members have consistently missed committees meetings within and outside the presence of the county assembly, and this has caused inefficiency in the operations of the committees. Number 5, that the county executive committee members fail or delay in acting on the recommendations of the county assembly as contained in several committee reports. And 6, that most committees of the county assembly did not receive the quarterly reports from the departments of the county executive as well as county assembly. Number 7, the role played by the secretariat of all committees is key to its success. The committees require advice, training on mandate and day-to-day deliberations of the committee, hence requires a research officer, Hansard officer, legal officer, auditor, sergeant at arms, and officer, and the committee clerk. And number 8, that the capacity building on the members of the members and secretariat of committees is important towards the execution of their mandate. And lastly is on the committee recommendations, and there are 8 in number. So the committee on liaison recommend the following, make the following recommendations. 1, that the standing committees of the county assembly should fast track generating and amending existing acts that are under their jurisdictions. That the sectoral committees conduct site visits on projects implemented by the county executive as a means of exercising oversight role and ensuring funds allocated to projects are utilized appropriately and efficiently for the intended purpose. Number 3, that the county assembly management prioritizes purchase of motor vehicles to ease mobility of committees during oversight visits. This implies that the county assembly vehicles be reserved and given priority for use by the committee on the oversight role and any other work related, any other work assigned to it. Number 4, that the committees of the county assembly finalize any pending business and be presented to the House for dispensation as soon as practically possible. Number 5, that the Kericho County Assembly Standing Order number 182-1 be enforced on members who fail to attend committee sittings. And that Standing Order number 182 provides for expulsion of a member who does not come to the committee. And this is a very important standing order. I think I would request the Honorable Speaker to read out that particular section later on. Number 6, that the committees on implementation should enforce the provisions of the Section 39 of the County Government Act 2012 and Kericho County Assembly Standing Order number 196 in compelling the county executive to act on the assembly resolutions. Again, Standing Order number 196 is very clear on what should happen for those who decide not to send reports to the county assembly. Number 7, that is secretariat of the committees to be fully constituted to support the work of the committee, such as the legal officer, research officer, and any other professional as required and requested by the committee. And number 8, that continuous capacity building be conducted to committees on specialized areas on the performance of their mandate. The committee wishes to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the Assembly for the necessary support in to it in the execution of its mandate. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is my present duty pursuant to Standing Order number 195 to present the progress reports of the various committees for the period September 2022 to June 2023 for consideration by this Honorable House. Chairman, Liaison Committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, before I sit down, I would like to thank the chairpersons of all committees for this report. And as you have seen in the summary, is that we have challenges in terms of bills. None of the committee were able to do a single bill for the whole period under review, except for the money bills, which were done by Finance and Committee on Budget and Operation Committee. Number 2, again, Mr. Speaker, is that most committees have also cried because of quorum issue. And that is an issue that is internal to members. It is an issue that members of committees should be able to address themselves, because that is an issue that it is about discipline, about members, which should be addressed. And that, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that, again, there have been challenges again. There are committees which have been active, like in cooperative management, which have been moving out in the assembly to look at what is going on in the committees. And this committee, again, once in a while, they have had challenges in terms of logistical transportation to visit different committees. And at this time, it is very important that we point out that the committee should be well given facilitation in terms of transport, the vehicles to be given so that they can go and do proper site visits to bring a report that is consistent with what has been given to them. Last, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to call upon all members that this is a service to God. That if you are a member of the county assembly and you're in a committee, it's a privilege. It has worked, it has risen to the occasion, it has served, because it's only God who knows that in this time we'll be in the assembly and all of us will be occupying the same seats that we're occupying today. And for that reason, I think it's a high time that we all work for the committees we are given. There's no committee which is less important. I can see Chair Delegated is smiling because this committee is one of the most active committees in terms of bending work. Because so I would like to say that there's no committee every committee is very important. You can be the most active by output or bending work, so you can interpret. But nevertheless, I want to say thank you so much. I want to end there so that members can be able to give their input. Otherwise, I want to say thank you so much. I'd like to request Honorable Leader Majority to second. There's a member of Liaison Committee to second this report. Welcome.
Proceed, the Leader Majority.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. More so, maybe, Mr. Speaker, to thank our APO Chair for working tirelessly together with the members who happen to be the chairs of various committees, Mr. Speaker, to come up with this very conclusive report, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know you've noted across all the committees that I guess Mr. Speaker has informed the communication that you made earlier as we started the session, Mr. Speaker. If you see challenges encountered by almost all the committees, is issue of quorum, absenteeism. That, Mr. Speaker, has made almost a summary of all the challenges that is being faced by various committees. It means it's a problem cutting across all the committees, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm supporting this report fully and encourage my colleagues, Mr. Speaker. No one is spared in this one, Mr. Speaker. Even us in leadership, Mr. Speaker, I know in one way or another, we've also been missing these committees, Mr. Speaker. And we want to apologize as we start afresh, Mr. Speaker, with the introduction of that biometric system, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I finalize, I think you will allow me to also inform the honorable members that immediately after this session, Mr. Speaker, our ICT officers, we will allow them to the chambers, Mr. Speaker. We register our fingerprints, Mr. Speaker, with the system. Let us socialize with the system. And I know the issues and the works that is normally done by our APO Chief Whip, Mr. Speaker, will be cut down to some extent, Mr. Speaker. And the quarrels that he has been facing, Mr. Speaker, I know you are aware there is a case before the Powers and Privileges Committee, Mr. Speaker, on the issues of rallying members to the chambers, Mr. Speaker. And with the solution that you offered in the morning, Mr. Speaker, I know it will go along in solving various issues faced by this House, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, our APO Chair for Liaison, we still have another task ahead of us, Mr. Chairman, together with Mr. Speaker, of rearranging now. We've had complaints from members that various meetings are colliding, Mr. Speaker. And now with the introduction of this system, I think we need to work. Maybe tomorrow, with the support of our clerks here, Mr. Speaker, we come up with a program that these meetings will never collide, Mr. Speaker. And you will see a smooth running of various committees together with the sessions, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, and God bless you. I support. I second.
Thank you, the Leader of Majority, for seconding the motion. Honorable members, I now propose a question that this House adopts the report of the Liaison Committee on the consideration of Select Committee Progress Report from September 2022 to June 2023. And the floor is now open for debate and contribution by the honorable members. The honorable Matthew, then I'll give to the honorable B, then I'll give to honorable Paul B. Let's
thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity also to support the report of Liaison Committee and also to put some comments on it, Mr. Speaker, sir. One is that, Mr. Speaker, if this is the true report, if this is the true picture of this county assembly, Mr. Speaker, whereby a committee sitting 20 meetings with zero report, Mr. Speaker, I think also as the committee or as the leadership of this county assembly must also understand that we are not sitting for the purpose of us getting allowance, Mr. Speaker, but we are sitting for the purpose of us having the prosperity of this county and also the picture of the assembly to come through. Mr. Speaker, I'm lucky being the Vice Chair of Education, and with education members, I want to say thank you so much, since that the issue of quorum and the issue of absenteeism is not an indicator that why we are not able to deliver our mandate as the committee members. Mr. Speaker, I want also to thank your office and the office of the clerk for giving us also hardworking staff when it comes to committees. We have the clerks in the committees where they are responsible with their work, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want also to suggest that if it is possible, I think that should have come under recommendation. If possible, the leader of majority can be given more time to restructure these committees, because, Mr. Speaker, if you can check, there are some committees whereby just 2 members come to a meeting and the rest are not attending. But since that you had a communication this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, concerning biometric, I think this one will also help us to be so much active going forward when it comes to issues committee. Mr. Speaker, on issues budget, Mr. Speaker, sometimes when we fail to deliver, we say that we don't have some resources on it, Mr. Speaker. But going forward, give resources where people are working, Mr. Speaker. If it is education that we are working, Mr. Speaker, and budget committee or health and lands, Mr. Speaker, let's assume those people who come here and say that you need to be co-opted to be part of that meeting, Mr. Speaker. Let's avoid issue of the corruption, Mr. Speaker, for us to get the better of this county assembly, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Chair, Liaison, Mr. Speaker, for what he has done with the entire committee. If this is the true picture of the county assembly, some chairs, Mr. Speaker, need to step aside and give active members to chair those committees, so that at the end of the day we will be able to deliver to our mandates. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I will say again that Education Committee, thank you so much. Water Committee, where I sit in, and ICT. Though in ICT, Mr. Speaker, it was very unfortunate to read that we have done 17 meetings, Mr. Speaker. Yet I'm a member, and I've never even attended one meeting, Mr. Speaker. Meaning that our clerks also should support this report with the minutes to know what there was discussion in that meeting, Mr. Speaker. It is only our chair who normally comes with a paper that we sign, Mr. Speaker. It is not right. So next time, I think, Chair Liaison, when you indicate 35 meetings in a department, kindly also tell us if there is agenda of those 35 meetings. Like the Committee on Legal and Justice. Mr. Speaker, they have 20 meetings but 0 report. Meaning they have spent 20 hours to discuss nothing. Because what we are seeing here is they had 20 meetings, 0 reports, 0 statement raised in this committee, Mr. Speaker, meaning that there is no agenda. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is high time we put resources where people are serious. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Matthew. Your point is well made. The Honorable Eric B.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute on this motion today by Chair Liaison. Mr. Speaker, this is a report which has come at the right time, and this is a great indicator on what we've done since the beginning of our tenure, 2022, Mr. Speaker. Before then, Mr. Speaker, there's a lot of challenges and recommendation which has been captured. And first of all, allow me to congratulate Chair Larson, who is also a Deputy Speaker, for the great work he did. Mr. Is a man who has been pushing up. He has been calling several meetings, and I want to attest his effort, Mr. Speaker, because in the last assembly, he was a chair implementation, and he did a great work, Mr. Speaker, by ensuring that all the works which was done in this house was followed up. And now again, Mr. Speaker, is a chair, Larson is pushing on the report which has never been done before, Mr. Speaker. I'm sorry to say this because this is the first assembly to do the report based on the record from the answer, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I want to support in totality the issue of biometric. Mr. Speaker, I'm not bragging, but I'm the most active. So when I was following up the issue of biometric, I was again a little bit because of the first members of this house, Mr. Speaker. As of now, I support fully the issue of biometric, and I want to let members that this is the work has done today. Let's be active, let's follow up our work, because our role is the legislation, oversight, and also representation, Mr. Speaker. When it comes to representation, we should be representing our people in this house and also outside, Mr. Speaker. So let's balance our time. When you are here, know that we are representing our people by giving out the motion and debating. And also, Mr. Speaker, when it goes outside, we also have to represent. We shall balance, and going forward, beginning from today, we shall do our work by using biometric. I must also, Mr. Speaker, report that the issues we have been facing as a Committee on Health has been the quorum, Mr. Speaker, and it has been captured here by the Honorable Chair, that most of the members, I know, most of the members, and I don't want to mention their name, they are the ranking members, and also they are the senior people, Mr. Speaker, who has never been attending. I don't want to mention anybody's name, but let them know that the work has done now, and you should appear, because if you don't appear to the committee, you will not earn anything, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm very keen in some areas. One is the bills. We've not passed any bill in this house, Mr. Speaker, and this is a challenge which has been captured adversely, that we are lacking also, though we have the legal people in the staff in this house, Mr. Speaker, but they are not enough. If you do the ratio to the honorable members, Mr. Speaker, we will find that we have only one legal as of now, who has a lot of duties, and Mr. Speaker, it is a very great concern for us that we should have more legal personnel to be able to to pass us through these bills, because you see the first reading, second reading, Mr. Speaker, all these honorable members should be taught on how to legislate the bills, so that we going forward from this financial year, Mr. Speaker, beginning from today, we shall be able to pass so many bills. I'm very glad because today you've committed the bill, Universal Health Coverage Bill, to my committee, Mr. Speaker, which I'll be the first one to table the bills in this House, Mr. Speaker, through your committees today. And we need the personnel to be able to take us through, so that we come up with so many bills. I also have an pending bills, which is a cancer bill, Mr. Speaker. We also have to pass in this House before this first quarter of this House, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I have noted some concern also from the executive. When we write to the executive, Mr. Speaker, they are taking time to respond to our reports, and this has been a very great challenge to our various committee. And Mr. Speaker, from this report also, having been tabled today, we are supposed to table to implementation committee led by the chair, Honorable Dr. Naman, so that he follows up when we write to the executive, Mr. Speaker, and they don't respond in time. There are some procedures. They should be given a reminder, at the same time also followed by maybe summoning the CC in charge of various sectoral department to be able to answer us about our report. You are not quarreling or talking a lot, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to all these honorable members when they don't have the agenda. The issue is the laxity. We write to the department, and they are taking long time to respond. Also, as we have so many duties, so we also get that laxity on our side. Mr. Speaker, I support this report on totality, and I must thank the chair and your office also for the same. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. I repeat, Honorable Paul Kiptaubi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to support the document. But before then, Honorable Speaker, let me first thank you for the introduction of the biometric. And I'm not saying that the biometric is the way to go, but I want to ask members that we need to be disciplined ourselves. If we can only be disciplined, the biometric will not solve the problem that we had. Honorable Speaker, as we go over the challenges which were made entirely by the committees, they all look alike. Honorable Speaker, have in mind this is the only assembly with the only doctor in the entire country. It's only that we members were not serious with what we are doing, because learning is a process. We can make use of the doctor and the professionals who are here to guide us plus the legal team in some pilots. Honorable Speaker, when you look at what the entire committee faced in terms of challenges, they look common. This is because we lack, respect to one another. But I want to urge maybe the leadership, the House leadership, that they should lead from the front so that other members can emulate the same. Honorable Speaker, with the issue of quorum, this is something that we've been facing all along. Even when we are out on some serious engagements, we do lack quorum. Reason being, members are not so serious with what they are doing. Yesterday, the other week, last week we were in Nairobi, and we had all agreed as members of the budget that we meet and we have a discussion on the supplementary issue. We met, it was adjourned because of the quorum. Yesterday, when we were in Nakuru, Honorable Speaker, the meeting started almost at noon. because of lack of quorum. And yet, we were facilitated to be there on time. We were to start the meeting at 9. Some members were there as early as 8. So we really lack, seriousness on some issues. So we want to urge any of the members that moving forward, maybe we need to get down. We understand the roles and the duties that brought us here. That is representation, oversight, and others. But the thing is this: if we lack, that honesty in ourselves, we will not move forward. So we need to give our chief whip his time, in whipping. I know he's been trying to whip almost everybody. But moving forward, because of this biometric system, I know guys will be running up and down because, they know that this one will derail them from getting their allowances. Otherwise, we want to urge your office as a team that in terms of facilitation, I know there are challenges we've been facing as a committee. Recently, the cooperative committee had a trip to Konyak. He's been the chair of that cooperative committee has been so active and he's been planning. But when we don't get facilitation on time, then it derails some of the duties. Otherwise, we want to urge every member that moving forward, let us work as a team, and I support in totality the document. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, the Honorable Paul Kutabi, the Honorable Chief Whip, and then I'll give to the Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate first the Honorable Chair Larson, that is the Deputy Speaker, for actually compiling the report from various sectoral committees and all other committee chairs. I want to appreciate the work that has been done since the inception of this third assembly. Based on the report that has been tabled, Mr. Speaker, I also want to concur with my colleagues that the challenges that is equally concurrent or replicated along all other committees, Mr. Speaker, compiled here is actually the issue that touches on the quorum. I want to appreciate that today going forward, as you've ruled, I want to appreciate that the happiest person today, Mr. Speaker, must be me, but I know most of the members could actually be aggrieved. But this is the way to go, members. To be very honest, I want to confirm that if you are given such a noble exercise, for your information, you cannot be pushing everybody every day. And you see, Mr. Speaker, the work of a chief whip again, like most of the members were asking, or they were asking me probably that most of the members could not be in assembly when there is time probably to appear before this honorable house. Mr. Speaker, most of the people could be in town, could be again in the villages, and therefore there was no way I could actually go looking for them probably in the various places. So I want to appreciate the effort that you've and the ruling that you've made, that it should be very clear that everybody must adhere to the work that they were elected or nominated to come and do in this honorable house. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy, man, today that though my work has been easy, I want to confirm that I will never tire. I'll always push for the same, and anybody that would actually be reluctant, I'll be there to pursue again. I want to confirm that. Then lastly, Mr. Speaker, I want also to confirm that there are some of the committees that actually we've noted based on the various committee, like for the committee on public accounts and investment committee. Mr. Speaker, before them are 15 sittings that they have held, but pending reports, of course, are 35. So, Mr. Speaker, there is not even a single report that has been brought before this Honorable House. And going as per the report, I've seen the auditor reports been issued, probably they have not gone through from 2020, 2021, 22, and not 2021, because I have not seen here in 2022. Mr. Speaker, I want to confirm that this is a committee that must rise to the occasion, because if they have a bigger chunk of work, they should actually start working on it, and probably they should actually start submitting before the floor of the House the reports, probably what they've made so far. Others, I want to commend the work done by the chair, that is the Deputy Speaker, for this very nice and comprehensive report. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much, the Chief Whip, for your contribution. Just to remind the honorable members that you are the Vice Chairperson of all Chief Whips in Kenya. And of course, you know you will be rated how you perform in this assembly, even before you are rated how you perform in the whole Republic of Kenya. The Honorable Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this chance. I also want to support the report by the Chairman Liaison Committee. That the report is very elaborate, and it is a very good report which all the committees will sit down and rate themselves and know where they are, if they are doing or if they are performing their duties or not. So it is our high time, members, that we sit down and see where we can pull up our socks and where we can work very hard so that we can achieve what we are supposed to achieve. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a report which shows the key performance indicators for each and every chair and each and every committee. So it is high time for us, we really work hard and work as a team so that we can achieve our reports on time and give out the progress report. Just like what Majority Whip have said, there are committees like Justice and Legal, as I'm one of the members. We've not really worked hard. There are so many sittings. It's like 22 sittings, but the report, even a progress report, is not seen within us. And Mr. Speaker, for sure, we've been saying about our chair, and I will not tire saying that, because we were supposed to table a report today. The 7 days has elapsed, and since that time we've not seen our chair, and I don't know what we are going to do. So, Chair Liaison, please help us, because we are sinking.
Who is your chair, the Honorable Deputy Majority? For which committee?
Mheshimiwa Honorable Koskei from Kunyak. So I'm giving Chairman Liaison, please help us so that we cannot sink. And again, I would like to support the biometric system you've just communicated to the House today, Mr. Speaker, sir, because in that you will know the most disciplined members in this House, and it is going to be a very easy time for the auditors and to audit what we've been doing and what we've been paid for. Anything which has been paid for, there must be a report. So it is going to be a very easy time, and the number of sittings in these committees will be seen, and the number of reports will be seen. So it is high time all of us members to be disciplined and come on time so that we form a quorum and do our work. It is high time we legislate, we represent, because this house needs us to do what we are supposed to do. Without forgetting, let me congratulate the Cooperatives Committee, and I'm one of the members, because they have been very active in going out and for a fact finding, and maybe when we need transport, let us be given on time so that we go and do our reports outside there, and we bring our reports here. Otherwise, we are not badly off, Mr. Speaker, sir, as we said, because yesterday we managed to, we had to host Kisii County Assembly, and most of the things they benchmarked from us, we realized that we are not badly off. If we work hard and we work as a team, and we are going to achieve all this. Otherwise, thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, the Honorable Deputy Majority. I want to give to the Honorable Evelyn, and then I'll give to the Honorable Peter Kemoy, and then Honorable Ismail Metker, and then Honorable Monica, in that order.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity to support the report. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want also to congratulate the Chair, Leeson, for bringing up this report. Because, Mr. Speaker, we've seen the challenges which are in is because of the quorum. And I also urge the chairs, whenever you don't come for the committee meeting, kindly delegate so as the committee moves on. I also want to support, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to echo Committee of Lands and Education. They've done a very good work, and there is no absenteeism. We always meet, and I say congratulations to our committees. I also want to say I support the system of biometric, Mr. Speaker, sir. As it is quoted in the Bible, you don't reap what you have not sown. So I support it 100%. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Evelyn. The Honorable Peter Kemoy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Let me take this opportunity to thank Leeson Chair for the good work that he has shown and approved. And he has been also motivating us to work hard and to table our reports in this assembly. We say thank you so much. Mr. Speaker, sir, as some of the honorable members raised a concern that maybe sometimes you are in these premises trying to attend some of the committee. Maybe I have the one for water, the one for trade is concurrently taking place, and I'm a member there. So it contributes to some of these comments that we have made in this report, that the failures and maybe the quorums. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me support the biometric because I know I've realized several times someone is the first one to make comments at the floor of the House. Immediately after making some comments, they step out from the floor of the House. So at the end of the exercise, maybe few of us have remained in the chambers. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I support it so that I hope the biometric is assisting us when you are signing in and also signing out, so that all of us participate from the first to the last. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me say, my department for water. I think you realized some few weeks ago that we stay here until almost 12 at midnight. So honorable members are committed. If only motivated and given some of the works to deliberate on. So I want to welcome also, we have another interrogating some of the members in Kewasco on this Thursday, because we have not finished yet. So we'll be having some of the members appearing in this assembly on Thursday, and I hope after that now we'll come up with a good report, because there are so many challenges that are facing the Kewasco department, and that is under the docket of Water Committee. So thank you so much. We request for your facilitation on that day, and I'm urging my members that we commit ourselves once again so that we come up with a good report and make our county on the right track. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, the Honorable Peter Kemoy, and even thank you for the communication that you have made to the House. However, it is important that maybe something written should be channeled maybe towards our officers so that we can communicate the same to these honorable members. You require them that day for those deliberations. Honorable Monica.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also give some input concerning the report from the Liaison Committee, that is on the performance of our various committee. I want to say that I support, since this is a true reflection of what has been happening in our committees. I want to talk more specifically on the PAC committee, which has, from the record, we have 35 reports which we have not dispensed, and I want to confirm to this House that we will finalize on the bedding business as per the recommendation number 4, and we'll give the report to this floor. Despite the so many challenges that we face in our committees, I want to confirm that quorum is a major issue. We come here, we spend money coming to assembly for committee meetings, and finally we go back because we lack quorum. I want to urge our members that we up the game. We come and dispense of the so many matters that we have in our various committee. Otherwise, I want to say thank you for the cooperative committee. We've been trying our best despite the so many challenges. I want to say thank you and congratulations our chairman and the vice chair and our colleagues. Otherwise, I want to say I support this report in totality, and I also support the biometric issue, because we cannot reap where we have not sown. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
All right, thank you so much, the Honorable Monica. The Honorable Isaac Metker. Okay, and then I'll give to the Honorable Anita. Then maybe I'll call upon the mover.
Thank you.
Okay, proceed. Let's,
Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. First, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Liaison Committee for the effort they put in the coming with the progress report, Mr. Speaker, sir. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, my point here is that we have approved 2 budgets so far apart from the supplementary budget. Mr. Speaker, the committees should have statistics of their department, Mr. Speaker, sir. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, For instance, Mr. Speaker, sir, Education Committee, they have to ask themselves how many ECD classrooms have been constructed, how many are equipped, Mr. Speaker, sir. Which one still needs an ECD classroom, Mr. Speaker, sir? How many ECD teachers are employed, Mr. Speaker, sir? And how many are still required for proper planning, Mr. Speaker, sir? Mr. Speaker, sir, in the health department, the department takes the lion's share of the budget. The same departments lead in generating the revenue. They're not optimal, Mr. Speaker, sir. We could ask ourselves how many health facilities we have, how many staffs are required in each facility to operate optimally, Mr. Speaker, sir. Are the drugs and other supplies enough, Mr. Speaker, sir? And what can be done? All these answers, Mr. Speaker, sir, could take our county in the right direction, because failing to plan is planning to fail, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, our vision and mission in this assembly will only be realized when we get the value for our money, Mr. Speaker, sir. We do budgetary allocation for every department in the county. The department in turn, Mr. Speaker, sir, has the responsibility of making quarterly reports, informing this House, Honorable House, Mr. Speaker, sir, how they have utilized the money, what they have done in the department, and what has not been done, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, thirdly, the Finance Department, Mr. Speaker, sir, to implement the Finance Act fully, to enable the county generate own revenue, which will make the county operate and run its function well, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, the chairman of various, finally, the chairman of various sectoral committee to up their game and understand their role and powers stipulated by our standing orders, Mr. Speaker, sir, Kericho County has to deem itself as a green town. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Order, honorable members. I thank you, the Honorable Isaac Metker, for your contribution. I overheard the leader of Majority Emeritus, of course, being concerned that you are reading some statements. However, I think silence means agreement, and the Speaker allowed you as per Section 90, because I realized that you were refreshing memory by reference to some notes, which is a very good thing, and so you are in order. The Honorable Dr. Anita, and then I'll give to Dr. Moses, and then I give to Honorable Israel.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity to be able to also contribute and support the report. And I'll start with congratulating the Chairman Larson, for the work done and for the comprehensive report. I want to believe, Mr. Speaker, sir, this marks the beginning of our seriousness in this House. There is no better time that the report could have been tabled, not today, because we're struggling with numbers, we're struggling with reports, delay, and everything else. And I think this came at the right time, that as we make some tough decisions moving forward, we're being guided, and we're also being reminded that we've not done well so far in this assembly. And as we support the biometric introduction, I want to believe this will make a difference, because if we are not serious in our committees, we might sign in like what we did today. We came in at 2:30 with very good numbers, but apparently most of the seats are empty. It's because, again, we wanted to show that we are here, then we disappear. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's my urge that the chairman for all the committees will actually mobilize their members to be serious so that when there's something being tabled, first the committee members are all present and they're active. Then we will not have cases like this where we sign in with biometric, things are moving, we disappear, then when it's almost done, we come back and sign off. Then we will not still make the difference. I think the reason why, Mr. Speaker, we want us to be here is to be able to contribute and to really respond to issues that we are supposed to be responding to, Mr. Speaker, sir. So as we work on this, I think, Mr. Speaker, sir, let's still, if it's capacity building to the chairmen and chair and all the chairs, let us do that again. I want to appreciate the training we had in Nairobi, in one of the committees that I sit in. It gave me an eye-opener to learn more on the standing orders and some of the things that I can do better in that committee. Maybe, Mr. Speaker, sir, we also need to go back there so that the chairman can actually bring their members together and know why they're in that committee. I don't know if restructuring will help, Mr. Speaker, but if we can support them where they are, maybe this will make sense to actually be here the whole day. And also, as I end, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to believe this also marks the end of coming in at 9 and having sessions of next, and we wait until 2. Because that is also something that has discouraged most of the members. When you plan your day, just to come and realize that we've taken 15 minutes and we are told to wait until 2 p.m. because something is not ready. It also messes up with our programs. Otherwise, I support the report. Thank you.
Thank you, the Honorable Anita Hamubey. Dr. Moses Rotich.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support, also welcome the report from the Chair Liaison in regard to the progress of the works that we have done in our various committees. Mr. Speaker, in that note of welcoming the report, Mr. Speaker, I would wish, Mr. Speaker, if that report would have had a component of, for example, the matters of education, Mr. Speaker, the number of students who benefited from the bursary, Mr. Speaker, the status of the scholarship, Mr. Speaker, for the VTCs, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the number of students who were located these bursaries, Mr. Speaker, and until today, close to 6 months post-allocation, their monies have not been posted to the accounts, Mr. Speaker. On matters on water, Mr. Speaker, we wanted, in cooperation of the same, Mr. Speaker, that the number of boreholes that was sunk in the entire county, Mr. Speaker, the number of households that were put in the last mile water connectivity, Mr. Speaker, in that we would have had a good report that would have really been inclusive. Mr. Speaker, we have had many reports that have been passed and adopted in the floor of this House. And Mr. Speaker, I want to go on record that the contributing factor, Mr. Speaker, that have brought up the issue of quorums, Mr. Speaker. At times, we work very hard to deliver reports timely, but they form part of archives in our libraries, Mr. Speaker. So that one puts us in a state of discouragement, in a state of dishonesty, Mr. Speaker. Going forward, we want to walk the talk, speak the talk, and do our duties as it is outlined in the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, on the matter of our biometrics. Mr. Speaker, today, I cannot run away, Mr. Speaker. When I have something that I would wish to register a dissenting opinion, Mr. Speaker, personally, I cannot run away. On the issue of biometrics, I want to go on record, Mr. Speaker, as the only person who has registered a dissenting opinion on the same. Mr. Speaker, personally, I have reasons not to welcome the use of our biometrics, Mr. Speaker. Let us have...
Yes, the Honorable Hezron, you are on point of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to raise a point of order, Mr. Speaker, because the honorable member is discussing on the matter which was overruled by the chair, Mr. Speaker. And I think it must be reminded that once the chair has ruled over something, it can never be discussed.
Okay. The Honorable Moses Rotich, please wind up. And of course, the standing order is very clear on the matter that has already been dispensed. So proceed and...
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Guided by standing orders. Number one, Mr. Speaker, I just want to say the following as it is, rest the case, and I appreciate that I've gone into record as the only member with a dissenting opinion. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, the Honorable Dr. Moses Rotich. Just also to remind you of your famous quote that political problems requires political solutions, whereas cosmetic problems requires cosmetic solutions. And therefore, I think the matter of biometric has been brought to closure. And let us proceed, the Honorable Hezron, and then I'll give to the mover of the motion to reply. And then so.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir, for the opportunity you have granted me, Mr. Speaker, so that I can put my inputs or comments on the motion by Chairman Lyson, Mr. Speaker. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, I support in totality the report by the chairperson, Mr. Speaker, Lyson, Mr. Speaker. This is a report which gives us checks and balances on the performance of various committees, Mr. Speaker. And when you go to the summary, Mr. Speaker, you will know how various committees perform, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, when you see the recommendation and the challenges which have been put down by several committees, Mr. Speaker, you will never miss to find a committee saying we have a lack of commitment or absenteeism by members. And that is a common denominator across the entire board, Mr. Speaker. What does that tell you, Mr. Speaker? It tells you that there is no commitment by several members, Mr. Speaker. And it's justified and it welcomes a way of seeing improving on that absenteeism, Mr. Speaker. And it means again, Mr. Speaker, that the reports and the work which has been done by several committees, Mr. Speaker, was done by a few people, Mr. Speaker. And I think, Mr. Speaker, we are welcoming the new way which you have just ruled, Mr. Speaker, on how we can improve on ensuring the absenteeism, Mr. Speaker. Because even the Bible says, Mr. Speaker, whoever does not work should not eat, Mr. Speaker. Why should you eat what you have not worked for, Mr. Speaker? To me, if every member, if some of the members, Mr. Speaker, if all of us decide that if there is no seriousness, Mr. Speaker, if all of us say I'm not going because I will be paid even if I will not go, you will find one day, Mr. Speaker, you will be alone, like the way you were alone in the morning, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, these reports are very timely, Mr. Speaker, and we need every committee, Mr. Speaker, and I want to challenge the chairman, Lyson, Mr. Speaker.
these reports alone should not be coming from, the chairman, Mr. Speaker, should ensure that every member or every chairperson of various committees, Mr. Speaker, give out monthly or quarterly reports, Mr. Speaker, on whatever they have done, Mr. Speaker. And we go further now to ventilate on their agendas, so that at least when they give us reports on their agendas, they've deliberated on their committees, Mr. Speaker, we share and we will welcome several ideas, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say to thank you for your office and the administration for the facilitation you have facilitated us. One thing which is not captured in this report, Mr. Speaker, is the report by various groups which travel outside the country, Mr. Speaker. What can we demonstrate that we have gone to benchmarking? What are we to show what we have gone to do outside the country, Mr. Speaker? I was expecting, Mr. Speaker, now to come in a mixture of several overseas trips which have been traveled, and their reports, Mr. Speaker. And I think I want to challenge the chairman, Mr. Speaker, we need a report of various committees or various groups who have traveled outside the country, and we need the report, Mr. Speaker, as soon as possible, so that before we plan for our next this financial year trips, Mr. Speaker, let's have a report to show the commitment and seriousness, Mr. Speaker, so that we avoid the issue of people traveling today and they want to come back to following day, Mr. Speaker. So those are the things, Mr. Speaker, we need to put into order, because service to humanity is service to God. Nobody was forced to come to this house. Everybody was contesting and fighting so that he can serve. Now this is the opportunity. What are we going to show about that commitment? So I support this report in totality, and by extension, we need reports from annual reports and quarter follow from the executive again, so that we know the performance of various players in this devolved units, Mr. Speaker. I therefore support this report in totality, and maybe, Mr. Speaker, I want to echo before I end up, Chairman Cooperative Management, Mr. Speaker, because Mr. Speaker is one of the chairperson who have done several site visits, Mr. Speaker, and that is now a real oversight, and that is now they have good picture of what's going on in field, Mr. Speaker. I want to echo them because there is a day they traveled to Kabianga and they saw the entire process and the challenges which dairy farmers are going through. They also cooperative, so I want to echo them for that, Mr. Speaker, and that committee must be facilitated. Even yesterday, Mr. Speaker, I learned that the same cooperative committee arrived here almost midnight because they traveled as far as Tendeno to and Londiani on field visit, Mr. Speaker. I think that is we must not we must thank them for the same. And Mr. Speaker, for us to because you are a generous person, Mr. Speaker, those committees and chairperson who does well, Mr. Speaker, like yours truly, Mr. Speaker, you should appreciate by organizing international trips for them, so that is a sign of motivation, Mr. Speaker. So that at least it's a wake-up call, so that we will do away with those other issues like which we want to introduce. But if we have a motivating factor, I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, you will see several bills here being sponsored, and you will see several reports being sponsored. Otherwise, I thank you and support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the Honorable Lesron, on that. The Honorable Deputy Speaker, please proceed and reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance to reply. And I want to take this chance to thank honorable members for their contribution and also for supporting this report, which is the first report in this third assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, actually finish the first quarter of this financial year that we are currently in. Understanding Orders 195 is very clear that at the end of every half year, we should be tabling another report. So again, honorable members, we're supposed to table a report for the half year early next year, January, because we'll be in recess. So just know that the first agenda we'll be dealing with when we come from recess in February, we'll be tabling another report of half year. What we'll have done between July 2023 to 31st December 2023. And so we need to have see progress on these recommendations. So I'll be very keen because what our reference will be this report. Did we achieve what we made in the first report? So the old chairmans, of course, if it will show that you are consistently having the same challenges, then of course we will make recommendations to the leadership of leader majority and the speaker to consider redoing those committees. We were actually almost going there, but we said this is the first report, so let's give members a chance. But I can assure you that the next report should actually have cleared most of the issues because it is coming up in the next couple of months. So just want to make it very clear that after recess in February, the first report that the House Business will be approving will be the report of the liaison committee on the half year of this financial year. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to say thank you so much for allowing the discussion to continue. And I want to commit also as the chairman last one that I will give my unwavering support to all the chairpersons. I will lead by example. I will be on the forefront. I will call my meeting for liaison. We'll give support to all committees which are active to ensure that they do their mandate, because there's nothing that we can do apart from giving you the support. So to all the chairpersons, you have my full support, and let's work for the betterment of our county. Let's leave a legacy so that at the end of our term, it will be known that there were chairpersons, there were committees, and they did what is required for us as by our standing orders and as required by the mandate of the Assembly. I thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for reply. Thank you.
Thank you, the Honorable Deputy Speaker. And now, honorable members, I rise to put the question that this House adopts the report of the Liaison Committee on the consideration of Select Committee Progress Report from September 2022 to June 2023. Will, as many of similar opinions say aye? Will, as many of contrary opinions say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, following the adoption of that report, the motion, the chairperson implementation, the Honorable Dr. Naman Rob, as you have heard the chairperson liaison saying that the other report is due when we are back from our long recess in February. I direct that you pick up the report and you give it priority, especially on the matters of recommendation that has been adopted by this House. Please note that chairperson implementation for your action in your committee. Honorable members, following, of course, the communication that I made earlier on commencement of using of biometric, our ICT staff are just outside the plenary or the chambers waiting for you so that you can provide your fingerprints. Honorable members, as we expect and urge you to cooperate so that we can make it easy for the administration parts. Otherwise, there will be no other agenda or order of business. This House stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 4th October 2023 at 9:30 a.m.